Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Tanner, and welcome to Crypto Bible. I hope you are all doing very well. Obviously, there has been a little bit of a dip in the market. It was expected. It was something that I've been speaking about for a while. As Bitcoin approaches these retracement levels, we were expecting to see, a large amount of volatility. I did post it over there in my Discord as well. I did say that, we could expect a big dip to happen. We could expect a lot of bounces to be happening in this area until Bitcoin goes to retry and break those levels of resistance, of retracements. So look, it's something that was fully expected, but obviously it always is scary whenever whenever Bitcoin is approaching these areas, because at the end of the day, it could just reject it and not get through it. For all we know, it might not ever get through it. Obviously, we want to remain optimistic because we are still seeing so many things all over the market to remain optimistic about, in the sense of seeing stuff like Cardano or Luna, Solana, which are top 10, top 15 coins, Cardano, top 5 coin, which are making new all-time highs every day. And ultimately, that just wouldn't happen in a bear market, right? And we've identified these as a leader. On top of that, Bitcoin reaching these retracement levels, we always expected this to happen anyway. Okay, but what the question is right now is, cool, it's happened. Where could we expect support to come in though? So let me just explain to you guys what did happen. From this high, if we take it right here, what I'll actually do first, right? If I take all of this off, you guys can see that from our initial high to our local low of our dip right there, we did retrace back to the 0.702. And the 702 is always that area what we need to kind of get past, because that is where crypto would usually tend to find a lot of resistance and then ultimately turn on itself or go through it and blast up. Now, in this case right here, if we actually take our high from being our initial 702 retracement and we go across, where are we right now? Well, we pinpoint hit our 702 in this case right here, and we've found a little bit of resistance, which is something that, once again, we have expected. And don't get me wrong, we might not get through it, but we have to remain optimistic and seeing other things in the charts, to say that we will. Now, obviously, in this case right here, it's all about finding where our support levels will be coming back in. And obviously, if we do end up getting through this 0.702, then we've got to take the entire move down, and then we've also got this one to get through as well. So there's a lot of resistance all the way up on these levels right here. And personally, I don't think it will be clear until we do break $57,000, which is about $10,000 away from right here. Okay, but then there was one thing that I was saying to the Discord chat. I kept posting quite a few charts a few days ago, expecting that this dip would happen. I decided to post a few charts and say, right, if this does happen, which is expected to do, where could we possibly come down to? And one thing I've been following for a while that I just haven't really been seeing anywhere on crypto Twitter or people talking about it on YouTube. And I don't know if I'm just being an idiot here, but one thing that I did actually spot was this right here. I posted this in my Discord group. So when we hit that resistance right up there, I said to myself, right, let's hit our support and move back up, because I obviously identified this as some kind of support trend line going up, right? So I said, right, let's hit this level and see what we can do if we do end up having some kind of bounce out of there. So that's what I was waiting to happen. And this morning, guys, it's just happened. So if I move our little circle out of here, how'd you get out, mate? Let me just take that off. There you go. Yeah. So as you guys can see, we have just bounced on it again. This is the 4-hour chart. As you see, we did wick on it, so we have had a little bit of a bounce there. Whether or not it's going to hold, I do not know, of course. But we have had now. If we start from our complete bottom, we've now had 1, 2, and 3 bounces on top of it, and you guys can see that they come at quite scary times, hitting the top here, right? Because if we go from here, we were at 42,600. To bounce on our trend line, we had to come all the way back down to 37,200. From our top, 47,900, all the way down to 44,000. From our top, 50,000, and right now, 46,900 or 47,000 on the dot, right? So, we've come back into that area. This is also an area which we can kind of identify, as a little bit of of resistance back up here as well. So look, we are in these areas here. As you can see, this area was resistance. We're now in that area, and ironically, it comes at the same time as hitting our trend line right here. So look, whether or not we want to go off trend lines to decide whether or not we've got our bottom, I wouldn't really trust that 100%. I don't usually use trend lines to determine whether or not a bottom is in. So, what else can we look for here? One thing that I don't use often again, but I like to use to see whether or not a bottom could possibly be in, is actually Bollinger Bands, right? So if I actually bring the Bollinger Bands up, let me just get them up for you. Should have got this sorted before, but here we go. So these are our Bollinger Bands, okay? What these represent are basically moving averages. The top one is a 20-day moving average. The bottom one is a 20-day moving average as well. Now, what would tend to happen is that, they would always stay in between these lines right here, right? They will always stay in between them. In fact, did I get the... No, okay. Yeah, they always tend to stay in between them. Now, in this case right here, I'm on the 4-hour chart. And as you guys can see, Bitcoin, every time it comes back down to hit our bottom moving average on our Bollinger Bands, there does seem to be some kind of reaction, okay? And we always bounce back up. We hit it here, we bounce back up. Here, back up. We hit it here and there, bounce back up. So every time we come back down to this area, we do end up having a bounce, and we don't usually break it as much. Obviously, in this case, this was our bottom when Bitcoin did go down to 28,500. But we immediately obviously bounce back up. In this case here as well, back up here, back up. Oh, basically what I'm trying to say is every time, you can see it for yourself on this chart right here, every time we come back and hit the bottom Bollinger Band, we always have a reaction and we bounce back up. Bitcoin has just done that again, okay? We are now on the bottom of our Bollinger Band. Are we going to see some kind of bounce back up? I don't know. Only time will tell. There's not really a whole load of data. People can obviously take all of this off and simply just take a look and see what the full-on support levels are on this. So if I just take everything off, what's going on here? I've just literally brought everything onto the screen completely. Let me just move all that. There we go. So what people are basically doing is just taking a zoom out and they're identifying loads of support levels. So you've got one right here. You will have one right here as well, right there. And then you come down a little bit more. You can go right there. I mean, there's so many areas where you can identify certain levels of support. People are getting out the moving averages as well and putting them on. So, the fact of the matter is, guys, no one actually knows where this bottom is going to come in. I can only show what I'm seeing. What I am seeing, once again, is that our trend line is literally right on it right now. Okay. So again, we're on the 4-hour chart. If I get our trend line and we go from our complete bottom to where we are right now, right there, as you can see, we've touched it again. Plus, in regards to our Bollinger Bands, guys, we are at the bottom of it, and there's usually bounces there as well. So that's what I'm seeing. If we go to the hourly chart and see what kind of a reaction we have been getting on this trend line in the shorter time frame, just put that on there better. There we go. So, it has turned green for this hour. We have bounced on it. Don't get me wrong, it's not a convincing bounce, let's be honest. If we bring the volume up as well, the volume isn't looking too great. We go to the 4-hour chart. Look, the volume is not looking great at all, to be honest with you. It's still quite minimal, but look, the buying volume is there with the selling volume, I suppose. But again, look, guys, time will tell what will happen with this. I'm still very bullish on the market. This is not financial advice, not financial. What am I talking about? It's just not financial advice. Sorry, still early in the morning for me. But at the end of the day, guys, I can only show you what I'm seeing, and you've got to remain patient in this. One thing that people don't do is just zoom out. If you go on the daily chart, guys, and just take absolutely everything off and just zoom out, I mean, come on. How many times did we have these dips come along? You had one right here, you had one there, you had one there, and we're having one here as well. They happen. Nothing goes up in just a straight line, okay? There has to be corrections along the way to come back and retest certain levels of support. Now, I'm not going to go into every single chart that I've seen around the market, but, quite a lot of these other coins are coming back down to retest critical levels of support. So they're also looking very good. I thought I'd just kind of focus on Bitcoin in this video, but look, I'm not saying with the bottom is in, I'm not saying it is in. So only time will tell, like I said, and we'll see. But I'll keep you updated with any other developments that come along. We'll just keep an eye on it. But for now, I suppose we just got to be patient and just wait and see what happens, you know. But anyway, if you've enjoyed the video, please let me know by leaving a like down below. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already and your bell icon is turned on. And I will see you guys very, very soon. Take it easy, people.